In this video, I'll be talking about feelings about travel, feelings against travel, for travel, feelings that we all have from time to time and from one degree to another. You want to know how I'm qualified? I'm qualified because I practice what I preach. So stay tuned for part of my story. What do you do with your feelings? The big questions that happen that provoke your feelings are, what if I get lost? What if I get sick? What if my money is stolen? What if I don't like the food? What if I die? You can what if all the unknowns you can think of and scare yourself into a cement pillar. Stuck. Some are stuck for life. Or you can make a little plan. I have some ideas about that. By the way, if you like my stories, subscribe and hit the bell button right down here, and you will know when the next one happens. Remember that last trip you took, the one you booked or the one you have been planning. Remember that sense of anticipation, the discovery you are waiting for. You feel a little anxious about the language. You are eager to taste the exotic spices and to eat the different foods. And to stroll through the different markets and see what people are buying, what they have to offer you. You research many details so you could know what to expect when you are in another country. You looked at the culture, you read up about the culture. For example, in some countries, you are to look people in the eye, and in other countries, you are not to look people in the eye. In Mexico, people don't really engage each other's eyes. In France, they certainly do. So what do you do and how do you feel when your travel companion poops out on you? I had a 70-year-old friend who had planned for quite some time to go on a trek called the Camino. Are you familiar with that? It's actually called the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, and it's a spiritual pilgrimage from France over the Pyrenees into Spain. It requires you to walk about 20 miles a day. So there's a lot of training that she put in beforehand to meet her goal of finishing the walk in a month. Well, at the last minute, her companion, her girlfriend who was going with her, pooped out on her. So what do you think she did? Did she let all of the fears of traveling and not having someone to lean on in case she needed help, did she let it stop her? No, she didn't. She went anyway by herself and had the trip of a lifetime. So the biggest question about changes in your plans, for example, you plan your trip and then suddenly, bam, global panic. Everything is shut down. What do you do? And what do you do with your feelings of disappointment? What would happen? Now, here's a question I want you to think about. What would happen if you just allowed your feelings? If you just decided to feel what your feelings are instead of avoiding it? And what would happen, even if you don't know the name for the feeling, if you just gave it a name and you labeled it? So here's a secret. Labeling something, whatever it is, a feeling or anything, labeling something enables you to be able to manage it and cope with it. So labeling your feeling enables you to go ahead and feel it, and then you can decide what to do with it. It doesn't have to live with you or own you. You might be saying, well, what does this have to do with my longing for travel? Well, you'll have many, many experiences when you travel, so preparation is the key to being a happy traveler and having really a fulfilling experience. You yearn to travel, but your head, in your side of your head, you say, I don't have any money. I was 19. Who has money at 19? So I left my small town in Southern California for an adventure in Africa. Yep, I found a way. I was sponsored by the Rotary Club, and my parents bought my ticket, and I had $200 in my purse to last me for a year. I did find a way, and if I could find a way coming from this small town in California with nothing, you can find a way too. Is money the real problem? No, I don't think so. When you have a clear mental picture, you will find a way. I guarantee it. Everyone has, well, let me see, you yearn to travel, but in your head you say, I don't have the time because you're busy with your career or your home life, whatever it is. But the truth is everyone has 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. What you do with it is what your choices are. So many people organize their life around travel. And if you really want to travel, and if you really dream of traveling, you can do this too. How? Well, you open your calendar and you look at all the dates you will have free from work for the next year. And the days you were free from work, the 3-day, 4-day holidays and your annual vacation, you put it on the calendar, and then you book travel wherever you can in the spots of not working. So your big trip of the year, your 2 or 3 week vacation, pick a place and put it on the calendar. That way you have 12 months to plan financially, 12 months to do your research, 12 months to build your anticipation, and put it on your calendar, and then you work toward that. For me, vacations were my reward from working. It wasn't paying the bills and it wasn't buying a house. It was travel were the rewards for me of working. Now, what it is for you, everyone is different, but all I'm saying is you can plan your life around travel if you want to. So you're into travel, but you're scared. Well, all these what if scenarios come back rolling in your head like a tsunami. So what do you do with your feelings? It has said 2 things. Fear stands for FEAR, stands for forget everything about reality or false evidence appearing real, that most of what we fear are things that are just stuck in our head. They're not having anything to do with what is going to happen to us when we travel. We have 2 choices though. We can shut down and let the fear stop, let our mind chatter stop us from our dreams, or we can label it, hold those things in for a while, feel the feelings, let them go, and then take action. Was I scared when I got on the plane at age 19 and went halfway around the world, leaving my family for a year in Africa? Of course I was scared. And everybody in their right mind would have some kind of fear. And it was the summer, July the 2nd, 5 a.m. when I stepped off the airplane, 116 degrees. Was I afraid when I'm sitting at the police office there, police station, because there was no one to meet me and I was stuck at the border? Of course I was scared. Was I scared when they called the president? I'm trying to explain in my unpracticed French that I'm a guest of the Rotary Club International, and here's the letter, and they called a person on the letter, and the houseboy says, His Excellency is sleeping. Now here I am, a 19-year-old girl from a small town in California, and I'm told, after flying halfway around the world, I'm told His Excellency is sleeping. What do you think I did or said? I said, wake him up. Then wake him up. Was I scared? You bet. When Frenchmen came to pick me up with his very broken English. He explained to me that they had not received our telegram announcing my arrival. And he brought me home. He had to go back to work, but he brought me home and introduced me to his extremely surprised wife and children as their guest for the next month. Was I scared? Yeah. Was I uncomfortable? Yeah. Did I survive? Oh, yes, I survived. So I found out later that the telegram that the Rotary Club sent on my behalf announcing my arrival was sitting in a post office box that was untended. It was a post office box of the Rotary Club, but it was untended for 8 months. Did I survive? Yeah, I survived. So I did allow my fears to exist, and I went anyway because I so yearned for the travel experiences like my hero, Marco Polo. He was a traveler in the 1500s who went from his hometown in Genoa, Italy, traveled the Silk Road, had many adventures, met the Emperor of China, which at that time was called Cathay, ate many exotic foods and learned many languages, fell in love, had many adventures, and then came home safely. That was my dream. And that's exactly what happened. Do you yearn to travel? Do you really have a dream? Can you let your dream become reality and go anyway? In fact, I would recommend, highly recommend, go while you can. Just go.